Level 1, the Dragon's Heir. You are born into a meat grinder. The year is 1431. The icy winds of Transylvania bite at your skin. You are not a normal child. You are a pawn. To the east, the unstoppable Ottoman Empire devours nations. To the west, the Kingdom of Hungary waits with sharpened steel. Your homeland, Wallachia, is trapped in the jaws of both. Your father wears the emblem of the dragon. He is sworn to defend the realm. But honor is a myth here. Trust is a death sentence. You watch him navigate a court poisoned by betrayal. Lords smile to his face and sharpen daggers in the dark. There is no safety in your castle. Only the deafening tick of a clock. A war is coming, and your bloodline is the currency. You sleep with one eye open. You learn the smell of fear on grown men. Your childhood is stripped away before it begins. You have 0 advantages. No army. No loyal allies. Only the crushing weight of a doomed crown. But deep in your chest, a fire ignites. They think you are a victim. They are wrong. You are the dragon's heir. And you will make them bleed. Level 2, the Sultan's hostage. You are 11 years old. Your father makes an impossible choice. He trades you. You and your younger brother. Handed over to the Ottoman Sultan. You are collateral. A fragile guarantee of peace. But this is no royal palace. It is a psychological prison. Every footstep echoes like an executioner's drum. Every meal could be laced with poison. The thread of the silken bowstring hangs over your neck. They try to break you. Whips. Darkness. Constant fear. Instead, they forge you. You watch their vast armies drill in the blistering sun. You study their brutal, unstoppable siege tactics. You learn exactly how empires kill. You absorb every lethal secret they possess. You are isolated, outnumbered, and entirely at their mercy. But your will does not snap. It hardens into iron. Then, the ticking clock violently stops. A messenger arrives from Wallachia. Your father is dead. Assassinated. Your older brother? Buried alive. Not by the Ottomans. By your own treacherous nobles. The men who swore loyalty to your blood. The world goes cold. You entered this fortress a terrified hostage. You will leave it an apex predator. Revenge is no longer a dream. It is a promise. Level 3, the puppet's exile. You are 17. The Ottomans march you back to Wallachia. They place the crown on your head. But it is hollow. You are nothing but a puppet. A tool for the empire. 2 months pass. The illusion shatters. Hungarian steel breaches your borders. The usurper Vladislav storms the throne. You are violently overthrown. Overnight, you lose everything. Your title. Your home. Your power. You plunge into the freezing wilderness. You are completely alone. Hunted. Assassins shadow your every step. The rustle of leaves sounds like a drawn blade. You sleep in the freezing mud. You chew on bitter roots to survive. For 8 agonizing years, you are a ghost. Wandering foreign lands. Begging for scraps of an army. Every door slams in your face. The cold eats at your bones. The disadvantage is absolute. You are a penniless exile marked for death. But your enemies made one fatal mistake. They left you breathing. You scour the darkest corners of Europe. You recruit outcasts and cutthroats. Mercenaries with no master. You build an army from the shadows. You refuse to fade into history. The puppet strings are permanently cut. Now, you write your own script in blood. Level 4, the Vengeful Crown. It is 1456. You finally reclaim your father's throne. But there is no glory in this crown. You inherit a doomed, lawless wasteland. The stench of rot fills the air. Your economy is completely shattered. Bandits bleed the countryside dry. The royal treasury is empty. Your greatest disadvantage is inside the castle. The boyars. The exact same lords who murdered your family. They kneel before you now. Their smiles drip with treason. They think you are weak. They plan to control you. To the south, an apocalyptic storm gathers. The Ottoman war machine is massing at your borders. The Sultan is preparing to march north. He intends to wipe your fragile kingdom from the map. The ticking clock is deafening. You are rapidly running out of time. You have no money and zero loyal troops. You are heavily nerfed against an unstoppable empire. But your willpower is forged from absolute suffering. You must secure this broken realm immediately. You will rip power from these arrogant nobles. Fear will be your new currency. You grip the cold stone of the throne. Meth time 4 is dead. Level 5, the bloody banquet. You host an Easter feast. The grand hall glows with candlelight. Roasted meats mask the stench of treason. 500 boyars sit at your tables. These are the men who buried your brother alive. They drink your wine. They laugh in your face. They think you are a naive fool. You raise your heavy gold goblet. The music abruptly stops. The thick oak doors slam shut. Bolted from the outside. Your guards step from the shadows. Cold steel rings out. The trap is sprung. Panic violently erupts. You point to the oldest lords. The architects of your father's murder. You do not just execute them. You impale them. Their agonizing screams echo through the night. For the rest, there is no quick death. You force them into heavy iron chains. You march them into the jagged mountains. They will drag stone until their hands bleed. They will build your fortress until they drop dead. You have finally purged the rot. Your domestic power is absolute. But this vengeance comes with a terrifying cost. Your purge has completely decimated your ranks. Your army is now desperately small. An imperial invasion is marching toward your gates. Level 6, the turban's price. You cross the point of no return. You cut off the Ottoman tribute. No more gold. No more blood. It is a fatal, terrifying choice. You just woke the apex predator. Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror. The man who burned Constantinople to ash. He sends his envoys to your court. But you smell the lie. You see the daggers beneath their silk robes. They are assassins. They stand before your throne. They arrogantly refuse to remove their turbans. They mock your authority in your own hall. You do not flinch. You honor their custom with absolute brutality. You order your royal guards forward. You nail their turbans directly to their skulls. Iron spikes violently crunch through solid bone. Hot blood rivers down their screaming faces. The deafening message is sent. You know exactly what you have done. You just provoked an unstoppable empire. Mehmed commands a terrifying war machine. Over 100,000 veteran soldiers march north. You stand with a meager force of 30,000. The numbers are an absolute death sentence. The air thickens with impending slaughter. You are hopelessly, catastrophically outnumbered. But your unbreakable iron will remain. Let them come. Level 7, the Night of Blood. It is June 1462. The odds are entirely impossible. The Ottoman war machine swallows the horizon. You refuse to fight them in the open. You drag them into hell. You unleash extreme guerrilla warfare. You poison the water. You scorch the earth. Then, you cross a terrifying line. You weaponize death itself. You intentionally infect your own soldiers. You send men oozing with the bubonic plague into their ranks. The sickness spreads like wildfire. Flesh rots. Men choke on their own blood. But the ticking clock of annihilation is deafening. Men's sheer numbers are simply too vast. You make one final, desperate gamble. Midnight falls. Torches are violently extinguished. You grip your heavy steel blade. You personally lead a suicide raid. Directly into the sleeping Ottoman camp. Total chaos immediately erupts. Canvas is slashed open. Throats are crushed in the pitch black. The metallic stench of blood chokes the damp air. You hack your way toward the Sultan's royal tent. You strike with absolute, savage fury. But you strike the wrong tent. The Sultan narrowly escapes your blade. You vanish back into the dense forest. You leave massive, unthinkable casualties in your wake. The Empire is finally bleeding. Level 8, the Forest of the Dead. You cannot defeat them in open battle. The Ottoman swarm marches relentlessly toward your capital. Târgoviște is utterly defenseless. The clash of their armor shakes the earth. Your military disadvantage is absolute. But you do not need to break their army. You only need to break their minds. You retreat into the dense shadows. You leave a terrifying welcome gift in your wake. Sultan Mehmed crests the final ridge. He expects a glorious siege. Instead, he stares directly into the abyss. Before him stands the Forest of the Dead. 20,000 Ottoman prisoners. Hoisted high on thick, blood-soaked timber spikes. The sickening stench of decaying flesh chokes the wind. A massive black cloud of screaming crows blocks the sun. The silence from the enemy ranks is completely deafening. Hardened veteran soldiers drop to their knees and vomit. Mehmed the Conqueror stops dead in his tracks. He looks up at a literal sea of rotting corpses. The sheer, calculated horror paralyzes his mighty empire. Your unbreakable iron will has birthed an absolute atrocity. The psychological devastation is brutally complete. He turns his invincible army around. The Sultan entirely abandons the invasion. He retreats from the nightmare you built. Level 9, the Brothers' Treason. The ultimate betrayal arrives from your own blood. The Sultan retreats, but leaves a poisonous proxy. Your younger brother. Radu the Handsome. He commands the Ottoman vanguard. He does not bring steel. He brings endless chests of Ottoman gold. Your soldiers are completely exhausted. Your treasury is entirely empty. The ticking clock finally shatters. Radu systematically buys your kingdom from underneath you. He bribes your desperate commanders. The boyars violently turn against you. The men who swore loyalty now hunt you like a rabid dog. You are completely out of time. You abandon your crumbling throne. You flee west into the freezing night. You ride toward your Hungarian allies. You seek refuge with King Matthias Corvinus. You expect an army to fight back. Instead, you walk straight into another trap. The heavy iron gates slam shut behind you. Corvinus double-crosses you. He strips your weapons. He throws you into a pitch-black dungeon. The damp stone chills your rotting bones. 12 grueling, agonizing years pass in total darkness. You are buried alive by the kings of Europe. But the dragon does not die in a cage. You sit in the shadows. You wait. Level 10, the Head of the Dragon. The year is 1476. The heavy dungeon doors finally scream open. You step into the blinding sunlight. 12 years of rust fall from your tired armor. You launch one final, desperate crusade. You will reclaim Wallachia or die in the dirt. But your forces are heavily depleted. You ride with a ghost army. You are completely surrounded by enemies on all sides. The winter wind violently howls through the barren trees. Thick mud clings to your exhausted warhorse. Your disadvantage is absolute. There is no grand victory waiting for you here. Just months later, the final trap snaps shut. You are ambushed on the frozen battlefield. Ottoman blades flash in the pale morning light. Jagged steel tears through your battered armor. Hot blood spills onto the freezing snow. You fight with the savage fury of a cornered beast. But there are simply too many. You are slaughtered in the cold mud. The dragon finally falls. Your enemies brutally hack your head from your shoulders. They preserve it in a barrel of thick honey. It is shipped directly to the Sultan. A gruesome, undeniable trophy. Absolute proof that the nightmare is over. Your brutal life violently ends. But your terrifying legend is just beginning.